Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Flushing Town Hall. So nice to see you all here today. It's nice to see an audience here every time this year. I never get over it. So thank you all for being here, and thank you all for your patience with our compliance with various standards of safety for COVID. Just as a note, we are going to keep the mask and vaccine requirements for the month of April. We're still testing the waters and seeing how things are, and cases are still present in New York City. So we appreciate your cooperation. Thank you very much. My name is Sammy Abouchamez. I'm Deputy Director here at Flushing Town Hall. I want to acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of the Matinecock people, the original people of Flushing, New York, one of the first tribes of the New York area. And we honor them and their elders who have stewarded this land throughout generations. Flushing Town Hall itself is a historic building built in 1862. This is our 160th anniversary as a building. How many of you are here for the first time? Welcome. Nice to meet all of you. So since this is our 160th anniversary, we are celebrating all year, starting with our gala on June 9th. And you can find information about that on our website, flushingtownhall.org. You can buy tickets or purchase ads or sponsorships there. How many members do we have in the house? We love our members. Thank you all to the members for being part of our family. We're also very grateful to the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, which actually owns this building. It's the property of the City of New York, which gives us support. We're grateful to the National Endowment for the Arts, the New York State Council on the Arts, the Howard Gilman Foundation, the Fan Fox and Leslie R. Samuels Foundation, and to our members and to our board members, and to the City Council, and we get support from a lot of places, so we want to acknowledge everybody. But thank you all for coming here. We are very excited to be continuing our mini global mashup series. It's been one of our most popular series to kind of come back gradually into live performance, just as Global Mashups was actually one of our most popular series before we closed. So we have the curator, Mr. Frank London. We're very lucky to have Frank with us, who's been curating this whole series since last fall. Frank London, the esteemed trumpet player from the Klezmatics, and I'm going to turn the mic over to him to introduce today's fantastic program, Italy Meets Senegal.
Thanks. Thank you, Sammy. Indeed, today's program is one which really conceptually is the most interesting for me, because not only do we have three, but two great artists, Alessandra Belloni and Alioune Faye, but we've been talking backstage. In a sense, they both serve the same role in their cultures. They're both percussionists and singers who come from not just from a traditional music, the Senegalese sabar tradition in Alioun's case, and the tarantella, the taranta tradition from southern Italy in Alessandra's. But both these traditions are trance healing rituals, and both of these artists have played on the world stages as performing artists. Their resumes are too long to list. But we were just talking about it, they both also continue to play in the actual healing rituals. And we were talking about the difference between performing a concert and performing the ritual itself and how these affect each other. And they're both, well, wonderful people. Alessandra just recently published a book, Healing Journeys with the Black Madonna. She'll talk more about that. It's a wonderful thing, and I was beautifully not surprised that when we did our little rehearsal for the mashup part, we didn't need any words at all. It was like start, go, listening to each other, wonderful. So please put your hands together, opening the concert, accompanied by the violinist Joe Denizen, is Alessandra Belloni.
Thank you. What a pleasure to be here today. And also thank you to Frank London for having this brilliant idea. I do believe that music really is healing, and we've been all going through all these difficult times. So we are doing music that comes from the healing tradition of the south of Italy, the tarantella, but it's not the one that you may think as a silly wedding dance. It's the healing trance dance. Right now, we're not going to put you on a trance. We're going to start with a piece called Pizzicarella. Pizzica means bite, and it's connected to the bite of the tarantula, the spider, as it had the power for people from centuries to dance, spin around, stomp their feet, also become a spider, and had the power to get rid of negative energy and depression and to bring in healing energy. So here we are, Pizzicarella. Pizzicarella, pizzicarella mia, pizzicarella. Tu camminari do, na ninna inna, lo camminari do, parichi balla. Hey, balla, parichi balla, lo camminari do, parichi balla. E ninna, 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 beh dell'amore e ci lo sa di fa. Hey, ninna, 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 beh dell'amore e ci lo sa di fa. Cano di scerre, adora pizzicao, cano di scerre, tutta la buderia, tutta la buderia, tutta la buderia di la sottana. Hey, Ana, della sottana, tutta la buderia di la sottana. Hey, ninna, 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 beh dell'amore e ci lo sa di fa. Hey, ninna, 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 beh dell'amore e ci lo sa di fa. Amore, amore che m'hai fatto fare, amore, amore che m'hai fatto fare. A 15 anni do, na ninna inna, a 15 anni mai fatto impacire. Hey, dire, fatto impacire, a 15 anni mai fatto impacire. Ninna, 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 beh dell'amore e ci lo sa di fa. Hey, ninna, 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 beh dell'amore e ci lo sa di fa. A 15 anni mai fatto impacire, a 15 anni mai fatto impacire. Da padre e madre patri to, na ninni naina, de padre madri mai, fatto scerrare, hey, rare, fatto scerrare, de padre madri mai, fatto scerrare, e ninna, 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 dell'amore e ci lo savi fa, e ninna, 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 dell'amore e ci lo savi fa, yeah! So that fast 6/8 rhythm that we're playing, which is also sometimes 12/8 rhythm, comes from Africa. So there is no doubt about that. Our tradition from the South is directly connected to Africa, so it's going to be really a pleasure for me to collaborate with the great artists from Senegal. Our roots are from there too. So this piece comes from Basilicata. The other song was from Puglia. Tiny region. It's called Fronni d'Ailia, and it's a song about a young girl that was forced to marry a man that she didn't love by the father, a rich man. And then she says that the night of the wedding, she will run away with the man she truly loves, which she did. And Fronni d'Ailia means olive branch, so it's sung by the olive pickers, and they sing this story of this girl, which is connected to the tarantella, because women who were repressed and oppressed by the society, by the patriarchal society, by the fathers, became tarantate, and the only way to get rid of their sadness and depression was to dance the tarantella. So here's Fronni d'Ailia, our own arrangement. And using a drum that reminds me of the way they made the tambourines in Italy, with using the strainers, with seeds to plant into the earth. So that's the sound that I try to recreate with this song. Callo tu padri da marita, callo tu padri da marita. Ai papa papi, ai me marita, ai papa papi, ai me marita, dimmi tu, accimi bohida. Hachime bohida, con te magge dai da piglia, con te magge dai da piglia, prima volta ira ya chiappa, prima volta ira ya chiappa. Attaccati le trici, Fronni d'Ailia, attaccati le trici, Fronni d'Ailia, attaccati le trici, Fronni d'Ailia, attaccati le trici. Callo tu padri, data marità, callo tu padri, data marità, callo tu padri, data marità, callo tu padri, data marità. Ai papa papi, ai me marita, ai papa papi, ai me marita, ai papa papi, ai me marita, ai papa papi, ai me marita. Grazie, thank you. Joe Dennison, the one and only. So staying in this tradition of the music from the south of Italy that heals and has to do with the bite of the tarantula, it's also called the bite of love. So it is called Morso d'amore. So a lot of these songs are very much about love. They're very erotic. These two pieces are from a specific part of Puglia called Gargano. And the first one is called Tu bella caloteni lupetto tunno, beautiful woman with beautiful round breasts. And it's a very poetic, erotic song sung by a man who's really obviously desiring this, to have this young woman. But again, all of this has to do with the fact that many times these loves could not be lived. So then the second part of that, first is the yearning, then is the tarantella alla carpinese, which is really about the two young lovers coming together, dancing their love out. And then the last part is called the Tarantella di San Michele, for the Archangel Saint Michael, believed to bring the Archangel Saint Michael power down to help the people that may need healing. So it's also fast, but remember, it's a healing prayer.
Innamorata, bella casa di, e ti grido io re passa i uova. Si mamma si nasconde chi studia, dille che sono state, faielle de fa, che dille che sono state, e voi e vie là, le capola per me ne fa. Luce lo so quando pane di luce lo batte toia, donna galante, in petali teni doi, pugnali d'argento, chillidoni bella. Ah. So we always close with a real pizzica, meaning the bite of the tarantula dance, a spider dance called pizzica tarantata. So this is the one that usually we also do sometimes for healing ceremony, and it's done really to send away negative energy, to get rid of anything that's depression, oppression, but really to bring good energy, as the metaphor is the venom of the spider. So the dance usually is very long. I do it for 3 days and 3 nights, but don't worry. We're going to do it short. So this is the way we say goodbye for now, but then we'll come back for more music with the fantastic artists. lagunella, 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 fallo giro giro di lagunella. C'è malinconia, cacciala fora, cacciala fora, cacciala fora, c'è malinconia, cacciala fora. Grazie. Thank you very much. Great audience. And back to Frank London. Thank you. Joe Dennison. Thank you. See you short.
Alessandra Belloni, Joe Dennison. Wow, that got rid of a lot of negative energy, didn't it? Oh my gosh. Woo. I forgot to point out that Alessandra has had a group called I Giullari di Piazza, the street musicians, the musicians of the square, and they've been together for over 30 years, and Joe's been part of it. And, well, she'll be back on stage, so you'll get to talk to her. Now, welcome, actually, I'm blessed, a good friend of mine, Alioune Faye, one of the preeminent drummers, performers in the Sabar tradition. If you know anything about African and West African music, then he's played with everyone you know at some point, whether it's Angelique Kidjo or Baba Mal or Youssou N'Dour. He's really, and yet he's a mainstay of the Sabar tradition in New York, also working with jazz musicians, and his group, when he leads a group, is called Yakar Rhythms. So please welcome, give a big round of applause, wherever he is, for Alioune Faye.
Hello. In Senegal, we say Nanga Def. Nanga Def mean how are you in Wolof. When I say Nangen Def, you respond Nyongi Ferek. Can you say Nyongi Ferek? Nangen Def? Wow, wow. I'm going to start with the talking drum, because I need to talk to you guys for a little bit with my talking drum. Now, I'm gonna play my sabar. And the rhythm I'm gonna play called Barambay. Barambay is a rhythm we do when we have baby naming ceremony in Senegal. So the rhythm is that Barambay, bakata, bakata, Barambay. Can everybody clap like this? Bakata, 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 esa bakata. Bakata, bakata, barambay, bakata, bakata, barambay, bakata, bakata, barambay, esa bakata. Uran kisan tak tak, kigin, kigin, tak tak. Uran kisan tak tak, kigin, tak tak. Uran kisan tak tak, kigin, tak tak. Tas mbatan, kita rada, kita mbak gin. Urat pak, kigin. Ura zan zambak ura gigin. Ura zan zambak ura mbatan, kiri zambak pak. Kinak, uran dan tak tak, kigin, tak tak. That's Barambay. And my family is a family called Griot. Griot in Senegal is a storyteller. So if somebody born in the family, we play Barambay for you the week after you born. That's what we do, the baby naming ceremony. Now I'm gonna play rhythm called Nyari Gorong. Nyari Gorong is like two drum. We call it two drum. That means Nyari Gorong. So Nyari Gorong is a gida 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 gin gin taj gin gin taj giza 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 giza. Can you say giza 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 giza? I'm gonna play the time for you. Giza 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 giza. Giza 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 giza. Okay. Giza 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 giza. Gin gin taj gin gin taj. Giza 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 giza. Gin gin taj gin gin taj. Giza 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 giza. Wow, that's so nice. Now you go. Ben, ñaar, ñett, ñeent. Giza 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 giza. Gin gin taj, gin gin taj. Giza 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 giza. Gin gin taj, gin gin taj. Kai uransa gin. Ja gin ja ja gin ja ja gin ja ja gin. Jëlal 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 bu la neexee jëlal fabal 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 bu la neexee fabal jëlal 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 bu la neexee jëlal fabal 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 bu la neexee jëlal seng biram gay kew yaay awa jaañ mali ba mangaan jaxeri ba mangaan jëlal jëlal bu la neexee fabal jëlal 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 bu la neexee fabal urambax tacambax tawrawran kin urambax jëlal jëlal bu la neexee jëlal 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 bu la neexee jëlal urambax tacambax tawrawran kin urambax seng biram gay kew yaay awa jaañ mali ba mangaan jaxeri ba mangaan jëlal jëlal bu la neexee fabal urambax tacambax tawrawran kin urambax giza 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 gin giza 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 gin ken ke gin giza giza urambax tacambax tawrawran kin urambax jëlal 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 bu la neexee jëlal urambax tacambax tawrawran kin urambax jëlal jëlal bu la neexee fabal seng biram gay kew yaay awa jaañ mali ba mangaan jaxeri ba mangaan fabal bu la neexee fabal jaajëf we say jërëjëf in Wolof in Senegal jërëjëf mean thank you jërëjëf when I say jërëjëf you guys say ñoo ko bokk jërëjëf waaw Now I'm going to play this rhythm called 6/8. 6/8 is called Yaba in Senegal. 6/8. A lot of people do 6/8. In Senegal we do gin tata gin gach ki gin se gin tata gin gach ki gin. That's what we do in Senegal. Kai, segin bacakin backing segin. Kurang bisan ya jonggama kurang bisan ya maternelo. Kurang bisan ya maternelo seri koko ya maternelo. Kurang bisan ya maternele ukumba, kurang bisan ya jongaman. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bravo.
Merci.
Hallelujah.
Thank you.
I feel both thrilled and selfish because after getting these great artists to play, I said, I want to be part of this concert. This is the only one I did that on. A little selfish. We're going to, part of the joy, for those of you who don't know the whole genesis of this, I'll be really fast. Flushing Town Hall, I don't know, Sammy, how many years have you all been doing the global mashups? So, yeah, so it's almost 9 years of these putting together different groups from different traditions, and also it was with dancing, and we'll come back to that, right? This will happen. And same format, just a lot bigger because it was different groups, and each group would play, and then they'd figure out something to do together. So we figured out something to do together. We're going to do 3 pieces. We probably won't talk between them. In reverse order, because I want to let Alessandra explain the first one, but we're going to end with a piece which is basically based on a rhythm that Alioune showed us. And then in the middle, we're going to do a composition of mine, which, just to add an unrelated tradition, is based on an Ethiopian pentatonic scale. So, because, hey, you know, that's how it goes. And the first song we're going to do is
Cunctissimus concanentes Ave Maria. It's a medieval prayer for the Black Madonna, which is what my book is about and my work is about, representing the Earth Mother, where we come from, the African Mother, and worship to different goddesses before Christianity, like Isis, Aphrodite, many, but also, she's also married Mother of Christ. So to say it in 3 words, it's not that simple. It's quite complicated. That's why I wrote 435 pages on it. But it does connect to Africa, and it's a healing chant done in the Middle Ages during the plague. So it has the power to send away fear of death, and again with the 6/8 rhythm of the tarantella, which is our arrangement, to really, that's the thought for all of us together, the prayer to bring peace and healing into the world with the Black Madonna protection.
Ave Maria, cara pace che dici, Ave Maria. Cara pace che dici, adi te carissimi, cara pace che dici, adi te carissimi, e concipies Maria, Ave Maria, e concipies Maria, Ave Maria. Thank you, what an honor, with the master Senegalese drummer. Thank you, Frank. I love that sound. honor to play on your piece, man. Thank you.
I got it, man. I was so worried. Thank you.
Alioune Faye, Alessandra Belloni, Joe
Thank you,
Dennis.
merci, grazie.
Grazie.
Frank London.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you very much.
No, you're not leaving yet. Give me your. Thank you. Sammy, you're going to come up.
If you're
Thank you
interested,
very-
I have a book about this tradition, but Frank is going to do
No. Start
No,
with
go
that.
for it, because that's all I wanted to say.
Alessandra, the first question. Can you tell us about the book? Here, pull a chair up, Joe. Pull a chair up.
I'll only have a couple here. It's a long journey through the south of Italy, ending in Africa, in a sense of honoring all the Black Madonna traditions from different regions in Italy, where I actually also bring people in the summer. I take people with me to the workshops. And so it's really going back into the ancient times where people worship the Earth Mother,
and the goddess of the earth, the moon, and also how it became part of the Christian tradition. And honoring the fact that, like he was talking about Ethiopia, one of the most important black Madonnas in Sicily, La Madonna del Tindari, originated in Ethiopia, and and there is an inscription that says, Nigra sum set formosa, I'm black and beautiful. So all of this and more, it's in the book, with also music, prayers, and chants. So, but now we're gonna have some Q&A, so you can ask me questions.
But just to be explicit, because Alessandra is a very polite person, if you're interested, she has copies for sale, so you could just see her after.
What did you say? Sorry.
Oh, nothing. I think
He said you can buy the book.
people can buy the book if they
Yes,
want.
of course. I have two.
Frank, that was a fantastic concert. And I mean, these musicians are amazing. But I was fascinated, especially because this very percussion-focused concert, by this sort of flavor of the different percussion style from Senegal and southern Italy. And I'd be curious to hear from both of you how you fit together in terms of the percussion, or what you enjoyed about the other's percussion tradition. What did you enjoy about listening to the other percussionist?
I can just say that it's an orchestra when he plays. So I'm amazed at what he can do with one hand and the other hand, and all these complicated different accents and rhythms. It's really not just one drum, it's an orchestra. And I know it's also spiritual from their tradition. So percussion, drum like that, to me, he's embodying the devotion to Allah, to the God, to the essence, the spirit.
And now we're throwing it over to you, Alioune. What did you hear in the rhythms that Alessandro was playing?
When he play, it sounds like two drummers. Really? That's what I hear, because I hear the bass, and I hear the clack with your hand.
Yeah.
Sound like two drummers playing. Yes.
It's good because we move both hands.
Yes, I hear that. It's nice.
Oh, he's coming back. Yeah, he's coming. Keep on going. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying being.
I only had one question.
I'm enjoying
No.
being in the artist role. You can do one or two more.
Yeah, Frank. You know, it's interesting to see you up on stage with these musicians, and
By the way, we put Sammy in the artist role last time.
Last time, that's right.
Turnaround is fair play.
You know, so the thing that I was thinking about towards the end of this concert was one of the commonplace phrases that I dislike the most that people say about music is music is a universal language. I hate this phrase. I hate when people say music is a universal language, because the particular differences among each music tradition is what makes them so interesting, so flavorful, and unique. It's like saying food is a universal language. It erases the difference between African food and Chinese food, right? So, but at the same time, it is very true that there are commonalities in the musics that can make, because this harmonized so well together, and the combinations you've picked before have been so beautiful together. So I'm just curious from each of you to hear a little bit about this. How do you navigate between what's common from your tradition to other traditions and what is distinctive, what is different about it? Can you talk a little bit about this similarity and difference? It's for anybody who wants to jump in on that question.
Start, so somebody else start.
Okay, I'll start just because I know that they have. Yeah, but they have a lot. They have a lot to say. There was a previous concert, I think, 2 months ago with the great Armenian oud player Ara Dinkjian, and he was telling me about a concert he was in with 3 oud players from 3 different traditions. I think one was a Palestinian oud player. He's Armenian. One was maybe Egyptian. I'm making this up. And the maqams, the scales they play, they're the same maqams, but they each play them differently. The note just differently. And I said, how did you agree on what to do? It's like political détente. And his answer was very, very simple, and I heard it from you all. He said, well, when it was the first player's composition, we played his makam on mine, they played mine. And because the first answer I was going to say is that I felt at first like, well, Alessandra played her rhythm very clearly, and then Alioune listened and found a way into it. But then I realized, aha, but that's because that was her composition or her song, because when we did the third thing, it was exactly the opposite. It was the other way around. And so it's ultimately, it's all about listening. It's all about listening. And you find your place, and whether you're drawing from something like a specific rhythm, you might say, oh, I know a rhythm that could work. Or if you just say, I'll just find something in it. It's just listening. And for me, and now this is my little political soapbox, then I shut up. Listening is the deepest form of respect, you know, for people.
That's what I did, because I didn't know your piece well. And all I did is just kind of close my eyes and listen, because it's a different groove. And I learned that trick in Brazil a long time ago in a festival. Somebody invited me, I don't know if you know Hermeto Pascal, very famous composer, but out of the blue, he asked me to play with him, and I wasn't expecting to do so, and it was my first time in Brazil. And then, very famous, you know, Nana Vasconcelos, they say, just close your eyes, listen with your heart, toca com o coração, play with your heart. I learned that in 1998, so I was like wondering, what am I going to do with the rhythm that is not so familiar? Play with your heart and listen. And same with him, I followed the Brazilian groove, which is called Baião, but it's African original. It all comes back to that, for me.
For your tune, you know, Frank taught me a new mode today, this Ethiopian mode that I've never played before. So I was kind of trying to wrap my head around it, but he said, you know, feel free to cheat, make it your own, and you could throw in some extra notes. And I was trying to stick to the mode to honor the mode, but you know, those extra notes snuck in, and I was trying to respect the mode and the tradition, but since I'm not familiar with that tradition, I was kind of thrown into it. You know, you always bring yourself, you bring your history and your culture to whatever it is that you play, and you can't escape who you are. So it's a balance between expressing who you are and honoring the tradition of the music you're playing. Mm-hmm. So the idea of listening and being humble and taking it all in, but ultimately you're going to put your own unique stamp on it, and that's okay. You know, and that's where new genres of music are created, you know. So.
All right, I have a question especially for you two, Alessandra and Alioune, because you're both, in a sense, immigrants here in the United States.
In a very good sense.
And in a very real sense, because you're born somewhere else. And yet you choose, or whether you had a choice, that's another point, your dedication towards the musical and spiritual traditions of your home, but now you're in your new home. And how has living, especially in New York, I'll say even New York, how has that affected your relationship to the traditional music? Is it different than if you had been yourself but only stayed in Senegal or in Italy? How did New York change you?
Like the difference is when I'm in Senegal, I play the traditional in Senegal. So when I'm in here, I have to put like add the tradition here as the jazz. I bring my African traditional and mix it with the jazz. So like the baramba I play, if I'm playing at the summer party here, because we do every 2 months, I organize summer party.
Oh.
Yes, I organize summer party.
Invite us, please.
So I'll invite you guys. Yeah. So the summer party, I bring the traditional because you know I have to bless the hall, like we call it tagumbar, like saying hi to the spirit. So that's what I'm doing. So I bring my my traditional, mix it with the jazz here. That's what I do. So it's nothing changed because I don't have to let my traditional go. I gotta keep it doing it.
Yeah.
And Alessandra, how did New York?
It's a kind of a long story, but short. I think that we sound very different from the groups in the south of Italy because we're in New York. And the groups in Italy are fantastic. There is a big revival of this music, but they're regional. So even though they create their own sound, they stay with their own region. We stay with our own region, which is the world, New York. So I have musicians like Joe, Steve Gorn, John LaBarbera. I feel blessed because they bring other elements to our folk music that I think make it more interesting. It's not just, today we play strictly folk songs, right? We didn't do the other. But the way he plays is very different from the violinists in Italy. It's his Russian blood and rock, Russian Jewish and rock and roll.
Influences.
And we did an evolution of our tradition that we call techno tarantella and techno tamariada, which was really cool, created mainly by Joe with electric violin and tracks. So I think it's important to know that folk music is beautiful when it's in the roots and its tradition, but it has to keep evolving. It can't just be staying in one little box.
There are those that disagree.
A lot of people disagree.
Believe it should
Yeah,
be a certain
but-
way, and you can't stray
But thank
from
God.
it. In every music.
I just want to actually react to something I think Alioun said. You know, I'll say we often think like, oh, we're inviting. It's often a problem for me. Like, is this Alioun Faye or is he like, as it says on the poster? And I kind of hate this one. It says Senegal meets Italy, as opposed to saying Alioun meets Alessandra. You know,
Right,
you know.
yes.
But I think. You know, but I think what we all do, and Sammy also, is we learn to negotiate and gladly this path between individuality and being part of a tradition. And I actually embrace it with love that, you know, because there's something great about being known by your name and your esteem. And there's something great just to being sublimated to something much bigger than ourselves. It certainly keeps you humble. You know, it's like we're just one. There's a great, I'm sorry, he wanted to go on to audience questions. There's a great Yiddish expression. They talk about die goldene Kette, the golden chain. And we're just one link in this chain. We're just a link in the chain.
So true.
And it feels that way. So,
Very true.
and you're part of that also. Okay, what did you want to do?
Well, okay, so I was going to take some audience questions, but just before I do, I wanted to make one comment, which is, as I was in the audience myself for the show, I was, you know, I'm such a music geek. You know, I really like the very fine details of so many different kinds of music, and I love getting to experience new things that I'm unfamiliar with, and I felt that excitement in the audience. I felt people's curiosity. I know our director, Ellen Kodadek, is one of the things she wants to foster is curiosity. So I just wanted to share my appreciation for you guys as an audience for your sort of curiosity and interest in what was happening up on stage. I feel like that's a very crucial part of this experience is the audience's interest. So I'm gonna, okay, I won't jump. But I'm going to take audience questions. Raise your hand. I'm going to come down to you, and I'll bring the mic.
This is the time for the little Jeopardy music, right?
So, yeah, nice. So, questions from the audience? Yes, over here.
Wow, this is great, the way they do
This is a question for Alessandra. I'm assuming that when you encountered or learned most of the songs, the vocal parts, that they were in a dialect of
Yes.
southern Italy.
Yes.
And do the groups that perform them today, do they continue to sing them in dialect, or do they
Absolutely.
transcribe them into Italian to make it more accessible to other Italians?
No, they're very archaic dialects. Very good question. So if you speak Italian, you would not understand a word of what I'm singing. But I learned it. I'm not from all these different towns. I learned about 40 years of research going to all these places. So if you sing, you know, one Calabrese, one Pugliese, one Napoletano, a completely different language. They're not just dialect, they're languages. That's a good question. They're not changing them. Actually, it's becoming more and more alive now. In the past, they tried to repress people from speaking dialects. Now they are actually teaching it in the schools in some places. In Sicily, for sure.
I mean, it's what she just explained, this phenomenon is true everywhere. And it's interesting because I was going to say, it even feels weird to call you and your culture Senegalese because that's like a modern political border. And you are Wolof, right?
Yes.
And that Wolof is not, the borders of Wolof are not the same as the borders of Senegal. And I'm sure there's a talk.
It's so many culture in Senegal. They have Fulani, they have Sose, they have Pol, they have Wolof, they have Maninke. They have a lot of tradition in Senegal. So, but we call it Senegal. But my tradition is Wolof.
Yeah.
Yes, I speak Wolof.
So, and in so many countries, there's this conflict between the dominant national language and and I agree with you, Alessandra, calling them dialects is trying to make them lesser than the dominant. Sorry, we're getting into political spirit. So, next question.
More audience questions. Yes, hands?
No?
No. Oh, over there.
There we go. It's okay. Whatever you like.
Hi, I've heard Alessandra before in live performances fight. This is my first time meeting you. What I'm most interested in, I've used your work in the treatment of interpersonal trauma.
Wow.
And I know that our countries and our people suffer in many ways. And I know that your music is probably used in a healing context.
Yes.
We need it more than ever.
True.
If you can share one example of how you bring this back to your community, to your people, one for each of you, if you have.
What is the actual question? How to bring it back to the community?
Yes.
Well,
Or how you do it, what you're doing.
well, before COVID, I was doing a lot of in-person healing workshops where I worked a lot with women who've been abused and doing the dance of the Tarantella and the Black Madonna. I haven't done that in a long time. That's a one-to-one ceremony with a group. But to be honest, if you do those ceremonies in that sense, cannot be for a community. It's more for either one person or a couple of people who need to release, you know. The community, we're missing it in America. It doesn't exist. Because in Italy, we would be meeting at a piazza, right? Playing the music together, dancing and releasing it. So we've done that a little bit, you know, when we play in a theater, when we play St. John the Divine. But I'm actually having this problem right now. How can I create a community here that doesn't really have this? It's not that simple for the community. Because the people don't know what it is. So if we were in a specific place where people don't know what it is, you come together, you play, you dance, there is a feast. And in America, Italian Americans have feasts of different saints and Madonnas, but they're completely disconnected from these roots. So we've tried to play in those festivals, bring it to the community. In that case, it didn't work. So the only time I think we do that is when we're in a theater and we play, and then we invite the audience to come in. Yeah. Then everybody experiences this moment of release together.
Which we always try to do when it's possible.
When we always try to do when it's possible, yeah.
Which we always try to do when it's possible.
Yeah. In our bigger shows, we always say, okay, come up and dance with us. And then people come up because, as you say, people need to release. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it's same thing in Senegal. Senegal, we have like rhythm for healing. Like if somebody have like mental health, we have rhythm to play. But it's not easy to bring it here because the people who do it, they're not here, they're in Senegal. So it's not easy to bring that here to help. But I know the rhythm. You know, if I see somebody and I know this person have that mental problem, so the rhythm I play, we call it ndub.
Oh, wow.
So we do that. You know, my family, they do that. My grandma do that, you know. And sound they sing for the person, and the rhythm they drum for the person. And it's so many sacrifice for the person we can do to heal the person.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
So I want to close up.
Yeah, I just have one more question from the chat, which is, would you guys collaborate again?
Yes. I just say to him, we need to
Absolutely.
stay in touch.
And you know, Frank, I have to say, like, again, watching this and seeing you get up on stage with them made me think maybe you should invite the entire roster of the Mini Global Mashup series for like a big final event.
That'll be the orchestra. We'll get there. We will do it. That's a beautiful global New York orchestra. I'm going to leave on the theme of what we just brought up, thanking all of the audience, Flushing Town Hall, Sammy, Ellen, Alioune, Alessandra, Joe, and in the words of Albert Eiler, the great saxophone player, music is the healing force of the universe. So.
It is true.
Bravo, thank you all.
So true.
Have a lovely afternoon.
Hey!